Good morning, students. Today we're going to study the new topics, fuels and combustion. Yesterday we had discussed about the fuels. We had discussed about the theoretical part of the fuel analysis. That is the ultimate analysis, proximate analysis. Today we'll discuss about what is the importance of proximate and ultimate analysis of coal in detail, and we'll take the significance of flue gases also. Along with that, we'll discuss about some numerical base on the fuels and combustion. So let us see. First of all, we'll discuss about the content of today's lecture. The first one, content of the today's lecture is the analysis of coal, importance of proximate analysis, importance of ultimate analysis, significance of flue gas analysis, and problem based on the combustion. So we'll take the first slide, which includes the analysis of coal. So what do you mean by analysis of coal? The analysis of coal is only how to study the quality of what is the quality of coal, what is the importance of coal in the combustion process. In order to assess the quality of coal, the following two types of analysis are made. That is, two types of analysis are important for combustion of fuel. The first one is the proximate analysis and ultimate analysis. So we'll discuss first proximate analysis. It means finding out the weight percentage of moisture, volatile matter, fixed carbon, and ash in coal. That means in coal there are different types of compounds are present. So you have to determine what is the percentage of moisture content, what is the percentage of volatile matter content, what is the fixed carbon content, what is the ash content in the coal. Then this analysis gives the appropriate composition of main constituent of the coal. That is the give the composition of main constituent of coal. This is the analysis. The third one, it is useful in deciding its utilization for a particular industrial use. That is the depending upon the nature of the coal, what is the application of the coal in various companies and various industry purposes. Therefore, depending upon the coal quantity. Then discuss about what is the importance of proximate analysis. The first one, moisture. Moisture means high moisture content in a coal is undesirable. That is, less quantity of moisture is required for good quality of coal. Therefore, high quality moisture has to be is not considerable. That is, the high moisture content in the coal is undesirable because reduces the calorific value, increases the consumption of coal for heating purposes, lengthens the time of heating, and hence lesser the moisture content betrays the quality of coal. That is, the minimum moisture content generates the best quality of coal. The minimum quantity of moisture content is useful for the good quality of coal. Therefore, moisture content should be low in proximate analysis of coal. Then discuss about the second parameter, volatile matter. The volatile matter, during burning of coal, certain gases CO, CO2, CH4, S2, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrocarbons that come out are called volatile matter of the coal. That is, after combustion of the coal, what is happening? There's different types of exhaust gases generated. This carbon monoxide, hydrogen, nitrogen, methane, and such a matter is known as such a composition is known as the volatile matter of the coal. The coal with higher volatile content, it ignites easily. That is, the percentage of higher percentage of the volatile matter is very important because what is it gives the ignition quality. It ignites easily. It has a lower ignition temperature. Burns with a long yellow smoky flame. It has a lower calorific value. It will give the more quantity of coal gas with it is heated in absence of air. That is that means the higher quality content, high volatile content is required in this case. Then discuss the third parameter, ash content. What is the ash? Ash is the combustion product of the mineral matters present in the coal. It consists of mainly SiO2, AlO2, and Fe2O3 with varying amounts of other oxides such as Na2O3, calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, etc. That means ash means nothing but the ash is the matter. The ash is the product after combustion. The after combustion it gets the some product, that product is known as the ash. That is the after combustion the reactants gives the ash content. That is after combustion of fuel, ash is generated. In ash, what happens? In ash, it consists of different components. An ash containing oxides of nitrogen, oxides of calcium, oxides of magnesium, melts easy early, low melting ash during the coke manufacturer, the low melting ash forms a fuzzy, lumpy, expanded mass which block the interfaces of the grate and thereby obstructing the supply of air, leading to irregular burning of coal and loss of fuel. That means if the after combustion ash is generated and that ash has a very disadvantages, therefore it blockages the grate, it obstructs the supply of air for during burning of coal, therefore loss of fuel takes place. Therefore it should be minimum. The ash should be minimum during combustion, after combustion. Then next and last point, the high ash content the coal undesirable because low quantity of ash is required for good quality of coal. Therefore, high ash content the coal is undesirable because it increases the transporting, handling, storage cost. It's harder and stronger, and it has a lower calorific value because it gives a lower calorific value. Therefore, its content ash content should be low in the process analysis of the coal. And the last point we discuss here in the case process analysis of fixed carbon. It is the pure carbon present in the coal. Higher the fixed carbon content of the coal, higher will be the calorific value. That means whenever the coal, if you are touching the coal, what is happening? There are different types of compounds are present in which one fixed carbon, one compounds also known as the fixed carbon. If the fixed carbon content is more, then higher will be the calorific value. That means fixed carbon content should be maximum, should be higher as compared to other component. This is the discussion about the proximate analysis is important. Then discuss about the next parameter, ultimate analysis. So what do you mean by ultimate analysis? Ultimate analysis means the finding out the weight percentage of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur of the pure coal free from the moisture and inorganic constituent. Again in the case, same case, what happened? In case of ultimate analysis, you have to determine the percentage of carbon, percentage of hydrogen, percentage of nitrogen, percentage of oxygen, and percentage of sulfur content, and which is it should be free from the moisture. This analysis gives the elementary constituent of coals. It is useful to the designer of coal burning equipments and auxiliary. And this ultimate analysis requires is gives so what is the how to design the coal burning equipment, how to design the coal burning equipment and auxiliaries. This is the importance of that. Then we are discuss about the one more thing, the importance of ultimate analysis, carbon and hydrogen percentage. Higher the percentage of carbon and hydrogen, better the quality of the coal and higher is its calorific value. That means when the coal having the high percentage of carbon and hydrogen, it generates the high quality of coal. It gives the high calorific value. Then the percentage of carbon is helpful in the classification of coal. Higher the percentage of carbon in the coal reduces the size of combustion chamber required. That means if the percentage of carbon is more in the coal, it reduces the size of combustion chamber during combustion process. The next parameter is with the nitrogen. The nitrogen does not have any calorific value and its presence in the coal undesirable. That means nitrogen content should be low. It is not useful for the coal, best quality of coal. Good quality of coal should have very little nitrogen content. That means if the coal having the minimum percentage of nitrogen is acceptable for the combustion process. The next point, the sulfur. Through the sulfur increases the calorific value, its presence in the coal is undesirable. Again the same thing. In as far as the nitrogen is concerned, as far as the sulfur is concerned, sulfur is also the main disadvantages of the nitrogen. That means sulfur content should be low again because what happens? Why? Because the combustion products of sulfur dioxide, SO3 are harmful and it creates the corrosion effects on the equipment. That means higher percentage of sulfur creates the corrosion effects on the equipment. It is very dangerous for the combustion process. The coal burn containing sulfur is not suitable for the preparation of metallurgical coke as it affects the properties of the metal. That means the sulfur content affects the body of the combustion chamber. That is it. It affects the properties of the metal also. The sulfur content should be low for the better quality of coal. The next part is the oxygen. Lower the percentage of oxygen, higher is calorific value. That again, the low percentage of oxygen generates the high quality of calorific value. As the oxygen content increases, its moisture holding capacity increases and the calorific value of the fuel is required. That means if the oxygen is more, then moisture content is more. Therefore, it's very difficult for us. You have to give the better quality of coal. Therefore, it should be low for the better quality of coal. Then discuss about the next parameter, the significance of the flue gas analysis. The flue gas analysis means it gives the idea about the complete incomplete combustion process. Whenever any fuel combines with the oxygen to generate the exhaust gases, to generate the large amount of heat, liberation of heat. That means the flue gas analysis gives the idea. It gives the complete combustion, either complete combustion or incomplete combustion. That means the idea gives combustion process. If the flue gases contains considerable amount of CO, it indicates that the incomplete combustion is occurring. It also indicates that the short supply mode. That means if after combustion the carbon monoxide generated, that means the combustion is incomplete. Then next, if the flue gases contains considerable amount of O2, it indicates that the complete combustion is occurring, and also it indicates the excess of O2 is supplied. If you are considering complete combustion takes place. After combustion, the fuel is combined with the oxygen to generate the complete combustion. Large amount of heat is generated, and that means complete combustion O2 content indicate the complete combustion of takes place during the process. And this is the end of the theoretical part. Then we'll take the another section which is about the problem based on the combustion, fuel and combustion. The first numerical, calculate the volume of air, volume percentage of O2 in air is 21, in bracket complete, required for complete combustion of 1 liter of CO. That means calculate the volume of air. Calculate the volume of air for complete combustion of 1 liter of carbon monoxide. That means in this numerical given the 1 liter of carbon monoxide, for combustion of 1 liter of carbon monoxide, what is the how much amount of air is required? This is the first numerical. So in this case, what happening? In this case, first of all, you write down the combustion equation for CO. CO combines with the oxygen. You have to adjust the molecular and you have to find CO2. Carbon monoxide combines with the oxygen will generate the CO2 and will get this equation. The one volume liter of CO requires 0.5 volume of O2 for complete combustion. That means 1 liter of CO required 0.5 volume of liter of O2 for complete combustion. Which is the explanation of this numerical. Then we take 21 liters of O2 supply by 100 liters of air. That means 0.5 liters of O2 is required. How much? Therefore, 100 into 0.5 divided by 21 liter of air. Solve the equation. We'll get a 2.38 liter of air. That means 2.38 liter of air is required for complete combustion of carbon monoxide. That means the volume of air is required for the complete combustion of 1 liter of CO equal to 2.38. Then we'll take another numerical, second numerical. What is the volume of air required for complete combustion of 1 meter cube of mixture containing 75% of CH4 methane and 25% of ethane, that is C2S6. That means what is the volume of air required for complete combustion of 1 meter cube of mixture? That means in this case 75% of methane and 25% of ethane. Combination of that one, it requires how much 1 meter cube of mixture is there. How much amount of air is required for complete combustion of methane and ethane? This is the question arises. The first of all you have to find out the 1 meter cube of mixture contains 75 divided by 100 equals to 0.75 meter cube of methane. Then 25%, 25 divided by 100 equals to 0.25 meter cube per of C2S ethane. Then determine the combustion equation for CH4 and C2S4 written. Then you have to methane combines with the oxygen. What is the product? And ethane combines with the oxygen. What is the equation? They write down the equation for that. CH4 plus O2, that is the CO2 plus 2H2. That means the reacted with the methane and oxygen. Product is the carbon dioxide and water vapor. That means you have to adjust the molecule. Multiply by 2 and you have to multiply by 2. That means CH plus O2 equal to CO2 plus water vapor. That means 1 volume of CH4 required 2 volume of O2 for complete combustion. That means 1 volume of methane is required 0.2 volume of O2 for complete combustion. Then you have to find out the equation for that one. 0.75 meter cube of CH4 required, 2 into 0.75 divided by 1 equal to 1.5 meter cube of O2 oxygen. Then again methane combines with the oxygen to, then will get the carbon dioxide and water vapor again. You have to adjust the molecule, the 7 by 2, 2 into 3, 1 and 3.5. That means one volume of 1 meter cube of C2H4 requires 3.5 meter cube of oxygen required for complete combustion. That is 1 meter cube of ethane is required, 3.5 meter cube of R2 is required for complete combustion. Because this balancing the equation will get the 3.5. 3.5 meter cube of oxygen is required for the methane and 2 meter cube of air is required for the ethane. Then go to the another equations. How to find out? 0.25 meter cube of ethane requires 3.5 into 0.25 divided by 1 equal to 0.875 meter cube of O2. That means that this amount is required for oxygen. This for C2H2 0.25 meter cube, it requires 0.875 meter cube of oxygen required for complete combustion. Then total volume of O2 required equal to 1.5 plus 0.875, because 1.5 is given numerical. You go to the numerical case, what is 1.5 is the 1.5 is there, and you have to add this one, you will get the 2.375. Then we know that 21 meter cube of O2 is supplied by the 100 meter cube of air. Then again 2.75 meter cube of oxygen supply by 2.75 to 100 divided by 20 will get 11.30 meter cube of air. That means the complete equation indicates the 11.31 meter cube of air is needed for the complete combustion. That means the volume of air required for complete combustion of meter cube of mixture is the 11.31 meter cube. Listen, in this numerical what happens, there the mixture is there. Methane, the mixture of methane and ethane. And mixture for 1 meter cube of mixture is how much amount of air is required for the complete combustion. The first of all, you have to balance the equation, you have to find the O2 for the separately, then find out, put the formula, and you will get the final value 11.31 meter cube of air. The next numerical, calculate the minimum volume of air required for complete combustion of 1 meter cube of gaseous fuel containing the following composition by volume: carbon monoxide 25%, hydrogen 10%, methane 8%, carbon dioxide 5%, nitrogen 50%, O2 oxygen 2%. That means in this numerical, minimum volume of air required, again the same thing, that is how much amount of volume of air is required for the complete combustion. If the gaseous fuel containing the content, the previous numerical only the combination of the ethane and methane, but in this numerical the combination of the different components, different constituents, different gases, as a mixture of CO, mixture of S2, mixture of CH4, mixture of CO2, mixture of N2 and O2. The how much amount of minimum air is required for complete combustion. The first of all, you have to find out the 1 meter cube of fuel contains how much amount of air, how much of air required. Therefore 25% for CO, 25 divided by 100, 0.25 meter cube of carbon monoxide. Again for the hydrogen, for the methane, for the carbon dioxide, nitrogen and O2, that is the oxygen. 10 by 100 equal to 0.10 meter cube of S2, 8 by 100 equal to 0.08 meter cube of CH4 methane, 5 by 100 equal to 0.05 meter cube of CO2 carbon dioxide, 50 by 100 equal to 0.50 meter cube of N2 nitrogen, and then 2 by 100 equal to 0.02 meter cube of O2, that is the oxygen. Then N2 and CO2 are non-combustible constituents, they do not burn and not require any oxygen. But this N2, and this is the N2 case, and this is the CO2. It does not require burns and does not have any oxygen. The combustion equation of the remaining constituents are which are below. Then go to this one. Carbon monoxide combines with the oxygen, will get the CO2 carbon dioxide. Again water combines with the oxygen, equal to the H2 water vapor. Then methane combines with the oxygen, will get the carbon dioxide and water vapor. And these are three equations are there. Then we have to find out separately. One volume, 1 meter cube of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide equals 0.5 meter cube of oxygen for complete combustion. Write down the equation: 0.25 meter cube of CO requires equal to 0.5, 0.25 divided by 1 meter cube of oxygen. Then we will get the value 0.125 meter cube of O2, that is the oxygen. Then for in case of the hydrogen, combines with the oxygen will get the this to balance the equation. 1 meter cube of hydrogen requires 0.5 meter cube of oxygen for complete combustion. Then find out 0.10 meter cube of hydrogen requires 0.5 into 0.1 divided by 1 equal to 1 meter cube of oxygen. We will get the final answer 0.05 meter cube of oxygen required for the 0.10 meter cube of hydrogen. Then for the methane. In case of methane, again combines with the oxygen will get the balance the equations. Carbon dioxide are products and the water vapors. Then 1 meter cube of methane requires 2 meter cube of oxygen for complete combustion. Then you have to find out 0.08 meter cube of methane requires 0.082, 0.08 into 2 divided by 1 meter cube of oxygen. Solve the equation, we get 0.16 meter cube of oxygen. Then we will find out the total volume of oxygen required for the complete mixture process. Then 0.125 plus 0.05 plus 0.16. That is, we will get 0.335 meter cube of oxygen required. That is, total volume, total meter cube of oxygen required for the mixture 0.335 meter cube of O2 oxygen. Then determine the net volume of oxygen required, total volume of oxygen required minus O2 present in the fuel, because you are taking for any consider any fuel that the fuel itself contain the oxygen content. Therefore, you have to minus subtract the equation and you will get 0.0335 minus 0.02 meter cube of O2. We will get 0.315 meter cube of oxygen. Then 21 meter cube of oxygen is supplied by 100 meter cube of air. Then find out 0.135 for this one. 0.315 meter cube of oxygen supply. Again multiply 100 divided by 21, we will get 1.5 meter cube of air. That is the answer of this. And then finally we can conclude that the volume of air required for the complete combustion of 1 meter cube of gaseous fuel 1.5 meter cube. That means the numerical belongs to the mixture of the various components, the carbon monoxide, hydrogen, methane, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen. Then the mixture of all these things, first of all, you have to determine how much amount of air is required for carbon monoxide, how much oxygen is required for the hydrogen, how much required for the methane, how much O2 is required for CO2, how much is required for N2, how much is required for O2. That this is the equation is very best example in which you have to find out the maximum volume of air required for complete combustion. The value will be, the final value will be getting for complete combustion 1.5 meter cube. And this is the end of the third numerical. Then go to the next numerical, the fourth numerical. The fourth numerical, a fuel contains carbon 60%, hydrogen 9%, oxygen 8%, sulfur 13%, remaining ash. Calculate the minimum quantity of air required for complete combustion of 1 kg of fuel. That means in this numerical, what happens? The fuel contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and sulfur along with the ash. And to combust, for getting combustion equation for this one, that is the fuel contains, the fuel combines with the oxygen to for complete combustion. It requires the oxygen. Therefore, combination of this one, how much amount of air is required? That means 1 kg of fuel. Both this 1 kg of fuel contains such type of component. And how much amount of air is required? The first of all, again you have to find out the content for what is the for carbon, how much amount of O2 is required, how much for H2, how much amount of wood is required, and how much amount of wood for sulfur. Then you write down the equation and then find out the 1 kg of fuel. Then first of all, solution start. 1 kg of fuel contains 60 by 100 equal to 0.6 kg of carbon. Then 10 by 100 0.09% of hydrogen and 8%. In this numerical, the 9 is there. The by mistake is there, 10 is given, but 9 is equal. By mistake, the book mistake. 9 by 100 0.09 and 8 by 100 0.08 kg of oxygen and 13 by 100 0.13 kg of sulfur. That means this amount of carbon, what is the O2 required? This amount of hydrogen, what is the O2 is required? And this amount of oxygen is required. And this for this amount of sulfur, what is the O2 is required for complete combustion? Then write down the combustion equations. Combustion equation for various elements present in the fuel. C plus O2, CO2. Again balance the equation. Then 12 kg molecular weight is there. O2 is molecular weight is there. 12 kg of carbon requires 32 kg of oxygen for complete combustion. So 1 kg, that means the 12 kg of carbon requires the 32 kg of oxygen for combustion. This is for the standard equation. Then find out the 0.6 kg of the carbon required 32 into 0.6 divided by 12 kg of O2. You will get the 1.6 kg of O2. And this is for the 0.6 kg for 12 kg. For 12 kg, 32 kg of oxygen required. For 0.6 kg, 1.6 kg of O2 is required. Then go to the another equation. Hydrogen combines with the oxygen will get the water vapor. Again 2 kg and 16 kg molecular weight. Balance it. The 2 kg of hydrogen requires 16 kg of oxygen for complete combustion. Then 0.09 kg of H2 requires 16 into 0.09 divided by 2 equal to kg of O2 equal to 0.72 kg of O2. That means 0.9 kg of hydrogen requires 0.72 kg of oxygen for complete combustion. Then go to the another element, sulfur. Sulfur plus O2 is SO2, sulfur dioxide. 32 kg of sulfur is required 32 kg of oxygen for complete combustion. It's given. Then we have to find out 0.13 kg of sulfur in the given numerical. 0.13 kg of sulfur requires 32 into 0.13 divided by 32 equal to kg of O2 equal to 0.13 kg of oxygen. That means again 0.13 kg of sulfur is required, 0.13 kg of oxygen. Then you have to determine how much amount of O2 is required for the complete combustion of mixture. The total amount of O2 required, that means 1.6 plus 0.72 plus 0.13 kg. The total amount of O2 is 2.45 kg of O2. This is the final answer. Then, but amount of O2 already paid in the fuel 0.08% in the given numerical fuel itself contained oxygen 0.8%, that is 0.08 kg. Then you have to subtract the from the given O2. Then net amount of O2 required, total amount of O2 required minus O2 present already in the fuel. You will get 2.45 minus 0.08 kg of O2 equal to 2.37 kg of O2. And you will get, finally, we know that 23 kg of O2 supply by 1100 kg of air, you will get 2.37 kg of O2 supply by 2.37 into 100 divided by 23 equal to 10.30 kg of air. That means for in the given equation 10.30 kg of air required for the complete combustion of this mixture, and the minimum amount of air required for complete combustion of 1 kg of fuel 10.30 kg. And this is the end of the fourth numerical we have taken in the today's session, and we will take the last numerical for the session, the numerical number 5th. Calculate the minimum amount of air required for the complete combustion of 50 kg of coal containing carbon 75%, H2 10%, O2 oxygen 2%, sulfur 5%, and the rest nitrogen by the weight. Again, these numerical belong to the fuels and combustion. So what happens? How much amount of air required for complete combustion? 50 kg of coal. That is, the coal is there. 50 kg coal is there. In coal, what is happening? Carbon is present, hydrogen is present, O2 is present, sulfur is present, and nitrogen is also present. The 50 kg of coal, how much amount of air is required for complete combustion of coal? 50 kg of coal. So first of all, you have to find out the percentage of that one. For percentage of carbon, 0.75 kg of carbon and 0.1 kg of hydrogen, 0.02 kg of oxygen, and 0.5 kg of sulfur. Again, the N2 is a non-combustible instrument. They do not burn and do not require any oxygen. They write down the equations, combustion equation for various elements in the coal. C plus O2 CO2, then S2 plus O2 S2O, and then S plus O2 S2O. That is sulfur dioxide. Then find out separately how much amount of air is required for the complete combustion of different elements. Then 12 kg of carbon requires 32 kg of oxygen for complete combustion. This is a standard sentence. Therefore, 0.75 kg of carbon requires 2 kg of O2. Then hydrogen, 2 kg of hydrogen requires the 16 kg of oxygen for complete combustion. 0.1 kg of hydrogen requires 0.8 kg of O2. Then for sulfur, 32 kg of sulfur requires 32 kg of oxygen for complete combustion. Then you have to find out 0.05 kg of sulfur, will get 0.05 kg of O2. Then total amount of O2 is required 2 plus 0.8 plus 0.05, you will get 2.85 kg amount of oxygen required for the complete combustion of mixture. But in the given numerical, the oxygen is already present in the coal. 2%, then 0.02%. You have to find out net amount of O2 is required, total amount of O2 required, and minus O2 already present in the fuel. You will get 2.85 minus 0.02 kg. You will get a 2.83 kg net oxygen required. Then finally, you determine 23 kg of O2 supplied by the 100 kg of air. 2.83 kg of O2 is supplied. Put the equations, you will get the 12.30 kg of air. That means amount of air required for 1 kg of coal equal 12.30 kg, but in the given numerical 50 kg of coal is present. How much amount of air is required? Then you have to multiply it. The amount of air required for 50 kg of coal, that means 12.30 into 50 equal to 615 kg of air is required for the combustion of 50 kg of coal. And this is the end of the today's session.